The cold December wind tore across the parking lot of Willow Creek Mall in North Carolina, carrying with it the distant scent of roasted almonds, car exhaust, and the faint chime of holiday music drifting from the entrance. People hurried in and out, laughing, shopping, complaining about the lines, living in their own worlds without noticing anything beyond their next purchase. But for Aaron Mitchell, the moment his eyes caught the figure sitting motionless beside the pillar near the automatic doors, everything else in the world blurred. It wasn't just another beggar wrapped in a worn jacket and fingerless gloves. There was something strangely familiar in the slumped posture, something unsettling in the way her hair fell like a curtain shielding her face from the world. He felt a sudden pressure in his chest, a strange mix of dread and recognition, as if he was staring at a ghost from a part of his past he had desperately tried to lock away. And when she slowly lifted her face in his direction, his heart nearly stopped. If you believe in kindness, compassion, and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps spread these stories to people who may need them. For a long moment, Aaron froze where he stood. His bags slipped slightly from his hand as the woman blinked up at him with tired, bruised eyes that told stories he wasn't ready to hear. But he recognized those eyes, years older, deeper with pain, but unmistakably the same. Her name was Katie Walker, once the girl who used to sit beside him in high school biology class, who shared her notes with him when he almost failed, who once dreamed of becoming a wildlife veterinarian. She had been gentle, brilliant, full of laughter, someone who deserved the world, not the freezing concrete outside a mall. Aaron felt a shock ripple through him as memories collided with the harsh reality in front of him. He had not seen her in nearly 10 years, not since graduation day when everyone scattered toward their own futures. He had no idea what had happened to her life to bring her here, broken and shivering. People kept walking around him, annoyed that he was blocking the path, but he barely heard them. His breath puffed in white clouds as he knelt close enough to see how badly life had worn her down. Her cheeks were sunken, her lips cracked, and the thin jacket on her shoulders wasn't enough to fight the cold. A small cardboard sign lay beside her with shaky handwriting, "Just need food. Anything helps." Life had stripped away her brightness, leaving behind a shell he barely recognized. A crushing guilt twisted in his stomach because fate had been kinder to him. He had a stable job doing digital design for a mid-sized company in Raleigh. He had an apartment, a running car, a warm bed. But standing there in front of Katie made all of that feel unfair, almost shameful. He wondered how many times he had walked past people like her without truly seeing them. Today, the universe forced him to see, not just a stranger, but someone he once knew, someone who once helped him, someone who had mattered. As he stood there battling the emotional storm rising inside him, Katie lowered her gaze again, as if she expected him to judge her like everyone else. That broke him more than her appearance. Something inside Aaron shifted. He couldn't walk away. He wouldn't. He gently placed his bags on the pavement and reached into his coat for the small thermos of hot coffee he had picked up earlier. She hesitated, her fingers trembling slightly as she accepted it, as though kindness was something unfamiliar or fragile. Watching her cup the thermos like it was a lifeline hurt him in a way he never expected. He felt his throat tighten as he realized how thin the line was between a normal life and a broken one. In the hours that followed, Aaron found himself sitting beside her, listening as she quietly revealed pieces of her story, pieces spoken with shame as if she believed she had somehow deserved this fate. Life had taken sharp, merciless turns. Her father's sudden passing, the medical bills that drowned their family, losing her job, and then the final blow, her apartment being taken away when she could no longer keep up with rent. She had tried to fight, tried to hold on, tried to survive, but one setback after another had pushed her toward the streets. Katie spoke like someone who had learned to expect nothing from anyone. And yet, beneath the exhaustion and hopelessness, Aaron could still see traces of who she used to be, the girl with big dreams and an even bigger heart. He felt a deep ache as he realized how easy it was for people to fall through the cracks, how society moved on, pretending not to see the suffering lying at its feet. But to him, this wasn't just a social issue. It was personal. He couldn't shake the memory of her kindness years ago, how she once helped him study late into the night so he could pass biology. She had saved him then without expecting anything in return. Maybe this was his chance to do the same for her. Aaron decided not to leave her outside the cold mall. He couldn't force her to accept help, but he could offer it with sincerity. He invited her to a small diner nearby, promising only a warm meal and a safe place to sit. She hesitated at first, clutching her sign and belongings tightly, but eventually agreed. He walked slowly beside her, making sure she felt safe, not pitied. Inside the diner, warmth and the scent of fresh bread made her shoulders loosen for the first time. She ate cautiously at first, as though she didn't want to appear desperate, but soon hunger overtook her hesitation. Throughout their time in the diner, Aaron found himself watching her with a protective tenderness he had never expected. She had endured so much, yet there was still a spark inside her. He could see it in the soft way she thanked the waitress, in the way her eyes lit up just slightly when the warmth settled into her. Bones. He wondered how long she had been mistreated, ignored, or pushed aside. He wondered when she had last felt seen. As the hours passed and the sky outside darkened, Aaron realized he couldn't let this be just a one-time act of kindness. Leaving her to sleep on the street after reconnecting felt impossible, so he offered to find her a safe temporary place, a small women's shelter nearby that had helped many get back on their feet. At first, she refused, insisting she didn't want to be a burden, but he reassured her until she slowly nodded. There was trust returning to her eyes, fragile but real, and when he drove her there, she stared at the modest building with a mixture of hope and fear, unsure whether she deserved another chance. The next weeks became a rhythm of small steps. Aaron visited her often, bringing warm meals or simply talking with her as she slowly rebuilt pieces of her life. The shelter connected her with resources, job training, and emotional support. She started volunteering in the kitchen to repay the kindness she received. Each time Aaron visited, he saw more light returning to her face, more strength in her posture. It was like watching a flower that had been starved of sunlight slowly begin to bloom again. He never did any of it for recognition. Something inside him simply wouldn't let him walk away. Helping Katie grounded him, humbled him, and reminded him of humanity's capacity for grace. And for her, each step forward felt like climbing out of a deep, dark well toward the first ray of sunlight she had seen in years. 3 months later, the transformation was nothing short of extraordinary. Katie had found part-time work at a small animal clinic, a poetic beginning to the dream she once thought she'd lost forever. She moved into a shared apartment offered through a support program for women transitioning out of homelessness. When she unlocked the door to her new room for the first time, she cried with quiet disbelief, gently touching the blankets and lamp like they weren't real. She turned to Aaron with a look he would remember forever, one filled with gratitude, relief, and renewed hope. And in that moment, Aaron realized something too. Sometimes, all someone needs is for one person to believe in them again. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread compassion to others who may need this reminder. Before the ending, please comment below what part of Katie's journey moved you the most. Katie never forgot where she came from or what she had overcome. She carried her scars quietly, not with shame, but with strength. And Aaron learned that kindness was not a grand gesture, it was simply choosing to stop, see, and care. The day he saw her outside the mall, he thought his heart had nearly stopped, but in truth, it had awakened. And that awakening didn't just change her life, it changed his too.